Over the years, Volkswagen have been well known for producing cars which go the distance. Take, for instance, the Volkswagen Passat or the most recent, more premium Arteon. In their diesel forms, these were vehicles which would go for miles. But as we move into the new generation of electric cars, electric and long distance, well, they don't really go together. So Volkswagen had to pull it out of the bag with a new vehicle, introducing the Volkswagen ID.7. A premium, larger vehicle which should be able to tackle the issue of going the distance without having to worry about charging all of the time. Hi guys, I'm Tish and welcome back to Auto Social UK. Today, I finally got my hands on the Volkswagen ID.7. I've never known a car to have so many car launches, but it's finally in the UK and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about it. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching. And if you do like new car reviews and car content, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I also wanted to give a massive shout out to the Marriott Motor Group because at the moment they've got a huge sale on. You can get up to £12,000 off of ID products. So I'll pop the link down below in the description box if you want to take a look at their new and used Volkswagen ID products. And before we get into taking a look at the ID.7, let me tell you all about the stats. The ID.7, like all of Volkswagen's ID product lineup, is built on the MEB platform. The headline draw-dropping range figure is an impressive 435 miles on a single charge. But, and unfortunately, there is a little bit of a but. This is achieved only with the larger 86 kWh Pro S battery, which will be available from the middle of this year, along with a twin-motor GTX version. The initial release, and the one that I'm driving today, features a Pro battery. This is a 77 kWh battery, providing a WLTP claimed range of 384 miles when paired together with the smaller wheels. Still, not a distance to be sniffed at. The ID.7 Pro Match is priced at £51,550, while the Pro Launch Edition costs £55,570. Notably, the ID.7 will not include a heat pump as standard, and this is available as an option for just over £1,000. Stingy and a little bit odd in my opinion, but it's always something that Volkswagen have done, and perhaps they thought it was a bit late to turn back now. The head of design at Volkswagen has said that he wants to start blending the electric products together with the combustion vehicles. For a while, the ID products, well, they felt disconnected from Volkswagen, so he wants to move those closer together. And you can tell that with the latest ID.2 concept car which was released. And I think you can start to see a lot more of it in this ID.7 as well. Compared to other vehicles like the ID.5 and also the ID.4, this looks a bit more like a Volkswagen. It actually reminds me a lot of either a Passat or especially an Arteon. But you do have those really key elements which are very signature to the ID products, including this light bar across the front, you've got the white badging, and you've also got those dynamic IQ lights. One of the key focuses when it comes to the ID.7 has been all about aerodynamics. This is a big vehicle. It's bigger than the Arteon, loads and loads of space. It might even be a little bit longer than the ID Buzz, but they've really focused on aerodynamics, making this as aerodynamic as possible. And despite its size, it actually has a drag coefficient of 0.23, which is really impressive. And you can see that in the styling. It's very smooth around the front, but you also have those vents at the side, which are bringing in the air and taking it down the side of the car, really reducing that drag. And that has really helped when it comes to the efficiency of the ID.7. So what about power? Because a vehicle this large with such a heavy battery is of course going to need a powerful motor. Well, not exactly. Prior to the arrival of the GTX version, the ID.7 will feature a single motor which drives the rear wheels, delivering 282 brake horsepower and 402 pound-feet of torque. been set up to be a sporty model. It's been set up to be a long distance car, like those Passats and Arteons which we know and love. It would be pretty cool to get a spicy version of this in the future. We do know that there's a GTX coming, which will probably get an additional motor, but we know that the GTX cars still aren't all that powerful, not compared to other high performance EVs. And that to me isn't really a miss, because I don't think this is a car which you need loads of power in. That being said, it still has a reasonable amount of power. It definitely has a kick to it. And especially because it's rear wheel drive, you're pushing, so you have that push from the accelerator, and that makes a big difference over front wheel drive rivals. You can see the aerodynamicness of this vehicle has carried across to the rear of the car, including no rear wiper, which I know is going to insanely upset a lot of people. But I promise me when I say it really doesn't make much difference when you're actually driving it. Although I really like the styling of this car, I'm super excited for the estate version of this. It's going to be really cool, and it's going to stand it out to anything in the market currently, apart from the Taycan, which also comes in that body shape. It does get some very cool rear lights, which I'm hoping are going to work when I unlock it. Of course they're not. They never do. Oh no, there we go. Just about saying it. They have come on. Did we get some sweeping? I'm not really sure, but we have got a little bit of footage. But they're pretty cool. I like how they work. It does make it feel a bit more premium. Now, inside the boot, this is, of course, where this car's selling point is, because inside here is a whopping over 500 litres of space. It's absolutely huge. It's very usable as well. As you can see, you've got that really flat load area because you've got the floor which sits flush, and then underneath here you've got some additional storage, and then you go down again and there's more storage as well, and that's wipe clean, so great for putting your muddy cables. The only slight disappointing thing about having a fastback shaped vehicle is that if you're putting dogs in the back, which would be perfect with the height level, it's not ideal because the boot comes down quite low, so the dogs aren't going to have the most amount of space. But it should be pretty good if you've got smaller dogs. There's also some through loading, and it's just very practical. This is my first time today sitting in the back of this car. And you know what? I'd watched a lot of videos with people talking about how spacious it was. And I thought, doesn't actually look that spacious. And I think that's because it's very dark. You've got a dark headlining, you've got dark interior, and it doesn't quite show how much space there is in the back here, but it's vast. Now, as I mentioned, this car is longer than most of the ID products, if not all of the ID products. I'm not sure about the Buzz, so I don't want to say for certain, but it is bigger than an Arteon, and it's got huge amounts of space in the back here. I'm around 5'5", that's in my driving position, and honestly, there's huge amounts of feet space. I don't even need to tuck my feet underneath the driver's seat because I've got more than enough room. There's also loads of space for middle seat passengers as well. I can comfortably get my feet behind that centre console. When I first looked into the car, I thought, oh, that juts out quite a lot, that might be a problem. But once I'm sitting in here, I'm realising it's no problem at all. You've also got climate control settings, and you've got 2 USB-C chargers, which is nice. You've also got a pull-out armrest. Ooh, she says it's a bit stiff, but that does mean it's good quality. With 2 cup holders. Yeah, that's really good quality. That's not flimsy at all. And you've also got some through loading. Now, through loading is perfect, especially for big cars like this. It means you can take skis, you can take long items, and you can load them into the back from the boot all the way through to the front, and that's going to make it super practical. Every version of the Volkswagen ID.7 comes with a few different driving modes: economy, comfort, sport, and individual. In individual, you can change the settings to perhaps have the suspension soft, but have the acceleration still quite sharp, rather than in economy when you get softer suspension, but then it dulls the amount of acceleration you get. But you can also take this suspension setup a little bit further, and you can add dynamic chassis control, DCC for short. And interestingly, the car I drove this morning, that had DCC, but this one doesn't. and I can notice a huge amount of difference. When I used to work at Volkswagen, whenever anyone was buying a Golf R, DCC was something which was always on the top of their list. And I can see why, because it is a very clever system which makes the suspension a lot more adaptive in all different situations. This morning, the drive just felt a lot smoother. It's a little bit more crashy. You can feel the weight of the car a bit more in this version without the DCC than I could this morning. So I think that would be a worthwhile investment. I find it really interesting and quite funny that with every new car, especially electric cars, which are released, we seem to be getting closer and closer to, well, conventional vehicles. At one point, we were stripping back everything in the cabin and making them ultra futuristic because that's what car manufacturers thought people wanted. But then they realised people don't like change. They might think they like change, but when it actually comes down to it, well, they're creatures of habit and they missed their creature comforts from their previous ICE cars. And I think you can really feel that with the ID.7. It's moving back towards a more conventional petrol or diesel product in its setup. And I quite like that, actually. Inside here, it seems the perfect blend. It's still futuristic in some elements. It's got a massive 15-inch screen, which I'll talk about in a moment. And you've got some really cool features and tech. But you've got more conventional things as well. You've got a conventional centre console. It just feels a bit more familiar. And I think that's going to be to a lot of people's tastes. So let's talk about this 15-inch screen. Massive, right? Probably is a little bit of an overkill. However, it does kind of work in this electric product. I don't really like it in the petrol Passat or the Tiguan, but in here, I actually think it works. The new system generation of tech is head and shoulders above the old tech. This is now running a new system and it's so much better than before. It's really responsive and it's super easy to find pretty much everything. But if you do get stuck in finding anything, then it's also got a really good helpful assistant. Hello, Ida. Change my ambient lighting.
Which colour would you like?
Pink.
Done. The colour is set.
It can also change the colours and there's so many different colour combinations you can get on this car. Now, I'm really impressed with the amount of clever technology that this car gets as standard. It does give it that premium edge. This technology includes the head-up display which comes with augmented reality. Now, I love augmented reality sat-navs because I'm not very good at taking directions audibly. I think it has something to do with my dyslexia and I'm much better if I can see the directions, and to actually have them straight ahead of me showing me the exact turning to take, I find that super helpful. It's also good as well if you've got something else going on your screen. If you're changing your music, you can still always see the direction of where you should be heading. Other bits of technology you get are front and rear parking sensors, as you would hope, but you do get a rear view camera, and on top of that you also get park assist with memory function. Now, I first tried this in BMWs and it's really, really helpful. Say, for instance, you've got a bit of a dodgy driveway and you reverse in. What the car will do is it will remember the route you took and then it will take you back out in the same way you come in. It's really, really handy. My drive especially, if you reverse in, it's fine. But if you drive in, it's really hard to reverse out. So with this function, that kind of takes away any of that worry. You also get things like adaptive cruise control. You also get your traffic sign recognition, blind spot sensors. It does have a lot of the tech which is sometimes not standard on other models. In a vehicle designed for long distance, comfort is key, and these seats are so comfortable. These are Volkswagen's Ergo Comfort Pro seats, and these have won awards by back specialists because they really are so comfortable. They hug you in all the right places. They also feel super high quality. They're leather on the outside and Alcantara on the inside, very, very soft, but they also have lots of functions. So they're heated, they can also be ventilated, heated as well. You can upgrade to those and they get massage functions. So we've got 11 different massage functions on these seats. Loads of different choices, including a lower pelvic massage as well. So on those long journeys, when you're starting to feel a little bit achy, you can have a massage. But you know what? You could even have a massage while charging, which sounds like an absolute dream to me. For now, the Volkswagen ID.7 is a really good offering for an electric vehicle which goes the distance. I do think it's a little bit stingy that they don't throw in that heat pump as standard, considering this car starts at just over £50,000. And whilst it's a really long distance vehicle at the moment, there are competitors like the new Peugeot 3008, which I'm going to drive soon, which may go a little bit further. Well, we know that Stellantis aren't that good at doing that, so let's see, shall we? I really hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Let me know what you think of the ID.7. Do you like the styling? Do you like that interior? Pop it in the comments down below. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and if you want to get up to £12,000 off of an ID product, then head over to the Marriott Motor Group or click the link down below in the description box. Until next time, guys, see you later.